Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name is Uzair and today we are going to see exponents in algebra. Woo! Okay, before we begin, it is exponents in algebra but we are going to see the inverse operations. So don't worry, I've got you covered. Let's review some expressions we saw in arithmetic. In arithmetic we saw expressions like 4 squared or the square root of 16, but in algebra we'll see more things like x squared or the square root of x instead of real numbers. We are going to see numbers but not mostly. Let's see. Okay, an exponent will be expressed like this: x to the n, where n could be any integer. I wrote non-negative integer because negative integers are very hard to deal with, and I'm going to cover a lesson just for that later on, inshallah. So we are going to see today non-negative integers. So let's see some exponents before we begin. X to the 0, x to the 1, x squared, x cubed, x to the 4th, x to the 5th. Okay, I'm going to stop here. What are these exponents? Of course, we know that x squared is x times x cubed is x times x times x, x to the 4th is x times x times x times x, x to the 5th is x times x times x times x times x, and so on. But what are these? I've already written here, but I'm going to explain the logic later. Now, x to the first power is x, because if you see the pattern, it's like a hill. You lose an x when you go up, and this is because it's like multiplying one x together. It's weird. Now x to the 0, you might think x to the 0 should be 0, right? That means 0 x's multiplied together? That's even weirder. But no, it's actually 1. Remember that any thing that is multiplied has a factor of 1. So x squared can be 1 times x times x, x cubed could be 1 times x times x times x, and the result wouldn't change. And if we rearranged it that way, we would see that there are no x's left, so we will just have a 1. So any number to the first power is itself. Any number to the 0th power is always 1. Now, in order to undo one of these things, let's see square roots first. Like the square root of x squared is x, because the square root and the squared cancels. I told that in my exponents and square roots video. Let's see some equations, the thing we have all been waiting for. I hope so. X squared equals 16. So in order to undo this, leaving x all by itself, we have to bring a square root. So the square root of x squared, now the squares will cancel, leaving x all by itself. Okay, and the other side, remember we have to do the same thing on each side. So if you see the square root of 16, I drew it here somehow, it will be 4. You will notice that's correct if you saw my exponents and square roots video. So you can see that video is very important in order to understand this lesson. So if you're having trouble, go to my intro to exponents aka indices video or my exponents and square roots video. It's in my channel. Okay, so in this equation we saw x equals 4. Now this equation is solved. Here x cubed equals 27. So we know how to undo this, hopefully. Now this will be a cube root. Remember, if it's if x is raised to the 4th power, we need a 4th root. We need the same root as the exponent. So the 3's cancel because they are inverse operations, leaving x all by itself on this side of the equal sign, and we need to do the same thing. So let me somehow, actually, you know what, let me erase this and write it like this. There it is. Okay, so the cube root of 27 is more harder. You can use a calculator if you want. I already got it memorized. 3 times 3 equals 9. 9 times 3 equals 27. So the cube root of 27 is 3. The equation is solved. Now let's try a root problem. The square root of x equals 3. Now you might be thinking, Uzair, I don't see any operator here. I don't see any number here. I think the x is all by itself. Remember, the square root is the default root. So here is a square, and remember, it's having a root, so it's not by itself. So in order to undo that, we need to square this number in order to get the roots cancel, leaving x all by itself here, and on the other side of the equal sign we need to do precisely the same thing. 3 times 3 equals 9. Remember that. You also have to memorize the multiplication table to understand these exponents. So I hope you guys memorize it. Okay. Now the cube root of x equals 5. Let's solve this equation as well. Now if we cube this, this will cancel, leaving x all by itself here, and on the other side of the equal sign we will have 5 cubed. This is really hard, so I prefer you use the calculator. I can memorize it in my head. If you can do that, that will be good, but I much prefer a calculator. So 5 times 5 is 25. I hope you remember that from the multiplication table. 25 times 5 is 125, because 25 times 4 is 100. You will see that if you do the rough work. I want to save time here, so okay, this will be 125. You can check it in your calculator if you want. So these are equations regarding exponents and square roots. Oh, there's a plane, I think that's why that sound happened. And okay, so this is all there is to it. We saw these equations in algebra right now. If you watched the video, you would have known that. So yeah, see you next time. Bye.